here, and we're going to talk about SST meetings again. What is the purpose of an SST meeting? It's to help a student succeed. Teachers call them to get input from resource specialists, special education, parents, administration on how to best make changes in the classroom environment to have a student be successful. It might also be called by the parent or the teacher because they suspect that there's a learning disability. So what you need to know is that not every SST leads to assessment for an IEP. And that doesn't have anything to do with the parent requesting the meeting or the parent requesting testing. There are three different ways this can go. A parent can be called to an SST because a teacher has concerns, and after the action plan, then it can turn into more interventions with the student because what they did was working and we check in again. It could be that interventions worked and it turned around, whatever it was, it really worked, so we're not going to meet again. Or it didn't really work and let's pursue some assessment. A parent can call a meeting, and they can call a meeting by asking for an assessment or asking for an SST. Either way, the team's going to meet within the timeline designated by the state. In California, it's 15 school days. And the end of the SST meeting does not, even if the parent intended it to be the goal, does not have to end in assessment. The SST meeting is the answer to the parent's request for assessment. And it could be that the team then agrees that there are a lot of reasons why an assessment would be appropriate at this time. There had been strategies in place, maybe even a 504 in place, and they hadn't been working. It could be the parent asked for it and there hadn't been any interventions to this point, and the team decides that for now we're going to do some interventions. It could also be that the parent had misunderstood the achievement at school and that there has been progress, that the student is making progress and they are not in the bottom 5-10% that would indicate that they had a learning disability because they have been keeping up. So that's kind of how it could end up. So our SST meeting usually comes before an assessment, but is not always followed by an assessment for an IEP to identify learning disabilities. So that's how that works. And you know, I've seen all kinds of different parents in my 28 years in 13 years now in special education. I have parents who think their students are more disabled than they are. Parents who don't recognize that the student is struggling and there is a disability. And then parents who are just, you know, doing their parenting thing, and the teacher has a concern, the team gets together and it all works out fine. So I wouldn't be anxious going into an SST meeting if I was the teacher or the parent, and just kind of go with the process. It should always be timely. It should always have an action plan. You should always leave, you know, with a list of things that you're going to do to support the child during the next intervention time. And that's whether you're the teacher or the parent. So that's kind of why we're going to have an SST meeting. Bye.